Yeah, I would have liked to see that game simply on another day with a more rested Union team, and so but now but also if they would have been more rested, probably the same would have happened to them, because as you said, they have been so many teams over the years been coming to Munich with this we're the hottest team, the surprise team in the Bundesliga, let's see what we can get out at the Allianz Arena. And I mean, typically Borussia Dortmund, but we don't want to rub salt in these wounds of them, but also in Freiburg, for example, this year, the last year, I don't know. I think they got 5 twice, and yeah, the Union is not alone with this. But Raphael, that was a special week for Bayern, and because they had a lot to talk about after the defeat in Mönchengladbach, and they confessed to it. So they were partly opened that they had a lot to discuss, and it showed, because it was a Bayern-like performance, or a performance that even Bayern would accept as Bayern-like.
Yeah, I think that's right. And they had a lot of time to talk because there was no midweek games, which is unusual. And they used that time for a team meeting, over dinner on Friday night. Of course, the newspapers knew about it and had all the photographies with the players arriving, but they weren't inside that meeting. At least we haven't heard anything yet. Julian Nagelsmann said that we all talked about a lot of things, and it felt as if Bayern had focus, Bayern had poise, Bayern had purpose, and I also liked the system. It was more of a standard Bayern 4-3-3, 4-2-3-1, if you will, with players really doubling up on the flanks. I think that was a key feature of this game. 2 goals came from wide areas. One came straight down the middle when Union really lost their head. They had a goal kick and everyone ran forward, and then the ball came back and there was just no one. Bizarre goal to concede. But the others came from sort of classic wing play, really, that we've seen from Bayern over the years, with Coman going through and Müller going through, and of course having the support of the fullbacks really high up helps a lot. And it was an all-round decent performance. Perhaps they should have scored more goals. That's maybe the one criticism. Thomas Müller missed a lot of chances. Ronov had a good game, but it could have easily been 5-0. And I think Urs Fischer summed it up when he said we didn't have a chance, and that was quite literally the right analysis.
Yeah, they had one in the first half and probably one in the second half, but you're right. And I think Bayern almost had 4 expected goals. So normally with these numbers, you get 5 or 6 goals. And yeah, what I liked, they looked fresh, they looked mobile, there was a lot of flexibility, there was a lot of movement, everybody was concentrated all the time, apart from our good old friend Leroy Sané, who towards the end of the game almost gave an assist for Union. Yeah, I mean, let's talk a second about, or a minute about Leroy Sané, because he famously missed the team bus on the, I think it was on the away game to Mönchengladbach. Also something to discuss in the last week, and maybe to combine this, Julian Nagelsmann said after the game, we all have to ask ourselves what it means to be to play or to work for Bayern Munich. And to me, it sounded, addressed towards Leroy Sané, so not coming late to the team departure, but also probably to himself to be more composed under stress. We had this big discussion about his fierce reaction toward the referee after the defeat in Mönchengladbach and so on. What do you think about it?
Ich habe die Frage nicht ganz verstanden, sag nochmal.
Also, dass er dieses ganze Soul-Searching, was die so hatten, was es ausmacht, Bayern-Spieler zu sein, sowohl bei Sané, der zu spät zur Abfahrt kommt, als auch Nagelsmann, der da so ein bisschen, also ob der Nagelsmann auch über sich selbst gesprochen hat.
Yeah, we don't know if Nagelsmann himself included himself in this analysis. He kind of hinted at it in an interview that he gave to The Zone afterwards, that he said we spoke about what it means to be Bayern player, but also Bayern coach or Bayern staff member. I think a lot of it is still the aftershocks of the Neuer interview, which perhaps put some of those tensions out in the open, but also gave, I think, Nagelsmann an opportunity to say, we have to be better. We have to keep these things in house. We need to focus more. We shouldn't let others define the narrative for us and create problems from the outside. So there's a little bit sort of a fortress siege mentality, I think, that's maybe artificially created, but most managers do it when they say, you know, everyone is against us and they all want us to fail, and we just have to move closer together and do it really well. Thomas Müller was saying similar things. So I think from time to time, Bayern kind of need that, because after 10 championships in a row, I guess there is that feeling that whatever happens, you're somehow going to win the league anyway. And maybe you need those sort of shocks, whether they're external or internal, from time to time, just to kind of jolt them back to life and keep them sharp. And of course, it happens in the Champions League, but we saw last year what happens when the focus suffers in the league. You cannot then always turn it on when it really matters in the Champions League. So maybe this is Nagelsmann learning from his experiences from last season. The team is experienced enough, I think, to draw their own conclusions. It was definitely a very encouraging result, and it sets them up really nicely for the next 10 days, which is first the game against Stuttgart, and then of course the really super important second leg against PSG in Munich.
Yeah, the siege mentality famously exploited by Otto Rehhagel over many years at Werder Bremen. And he created, very successfully created this atmosphere about Werder Bremen that it's like everybody is against us, especially the journalists, and but we're here inside our castle with the players and with the staff, and also Otto Rehhagel famously included the wives of the players, for example, with his wife Beate, who took care of them. But he failed with it at Bayern. But that's just an abbreviation. I mean, I think we've said it so often, but there's only one team that decides who becomes German champion, and that is Bayern. And I must say, unfortunately, they look back on track.
Yeah, they certainly did. And I can see, we will maybe find out about this a bit later, but I can see Julian Nagelsmann saying something like, you know, after 10 years of Bayern success, people want to see you fail. People want to see a different champion. People will be happy if somebody else wins it. Do you want to give people that satisfaction? You know, do you want to make people happy, or are you going to say we are Bayern Munich? And today was that sort of performance. And before we started recording, you compared Bayern to the Death Star. And of course, it was that very much sort of destroying a galaxy of dreams sort of performance, and just ruthlessly kind of destructive dominance of this red monolith. But that's what they're built to do, and that's what they tend to do.
The club song of Bayern is Stern des Südens, Star of the South, and some years ago, I don't know if it's still available in the Elf Freunde shop, the the merchandising of a magazine. You could buy a sweatshirt or hoodie with Death Star of the South, Todesstern des Südens, and that came into my mind. Yeah, because it's actually exactly what you're saying. They come to destroy the hopes of a lot of people in Germany for a more competitive competition.